New Orleans property owners have 17 days left to pay property taxes, and for many, the amount owed to the city is substantially higher than what most are used to paying. WDSU reporter Gina Swanson is here live to explain why, and Gina, some pretty big numbers.
Absolutely, Norman. Here's a property tax bill. That one was actually mine. The bills are due on January 31st, and even though the assessments went out back in August, many property owners still have sticker shock.
I've been saving my money to pay it.
And so have many property owners across the city who now have just over 2 weeks to pay their tax bills due at the end of the month. Many saw a substantial increase this year.
It had gone up about almost 50% from having to pay about $10,000 a year for the property I own in the French Quarter to about $15,000.
Leo Watermeyer owns properties in the French Quarter. He says the higher tax bills are discouraging for folks looking to buy in Orleans Parish. He's one of thousands in the city who question why his tax bill is so much higher this year than in years past. Assessor Errol Williams says there are a number of reasons for property owners to see the higher tax bills, including some properties that haven't been revalued since Hurricane Katrina.
Substantial number of properties in New Orleans, are probably more like 90% of them, were reduced in value. So some of those people have enjoyed those low assessments for almost 7 years.
Assessor Williams also says after consolidating the 7 assessor districts into one, his office identified a number of properties that had been sitting on the books for years undervalued.
There were a number of properties that we have found and continue to find that are either on the tax rolls as a vacant lot. They are owned for a storm damage value of $30,000, which may be worth as much as $1 million.
Still, when tax assessments went out last August, this was the scene. Long lines at City Hall, and 3,300 people filed appeals, including Leo Watermeyer. He was able to get an adjustment.
I felt successful in the appeal. My taxes this year are going up about $900 instead of going up almost $5,000.
But more than 70% of the people who filed appeals got no relief and are on the hook for the increased tax bill. And we should also mention, just because you've already seen an increase in your tax bill, depending on what neighborhood you're in, your property valuation could go up again this year. Errol Williams admits that his office isn't perfect, but says that they are working diligently to get assessments as uniform as possible. Norman, certainly not
hold on to your wallets. Huh?
I'm trying to.
All right. Thank you, Gina. The city, meanwhile, is urging property owners
On a new tax for New Orleans libraries. You see, money has been tight the last couple of years, and library officials say this may be their last option.
Anchor Stella Kim takes a look at the proposition, how much it'll cost you, and how it'll help local libraries.
Libraries are the only place in all of New Orleans that are educational, informational, that are free and open to the public. They're safe spaces for the community.
But the free access to information comes at a cost. Voters will decide on a new 2.5 mil property tax May 2nd. It is in addition to the 3.1 mils property owners already pay, which expires in 2021. If the proposal passes, there would be an additional cost of $54.81 annually for a $300,000 house with a homestead exemption. Librarian Sheila Prevost says the money is needed to increase hours and services.
We plan to increase the hours of operation by 30%. The larger libraries will be open 7 days a week with extended hours. The smaller branches will be open 6 days a week with extended hours. We also plan to increase our collections, programming, and technology.
The library's annual budget is $9.5 million, but because they've been cash-strapped, the last couple of years they've been dipping into the reserves. And the executive director tells me the problem is that the reserve fund will be depleted by 2016.
We're at the end of the road in terms of what our options are, so it really is so important we have the opportunity to increase the services that we provide, increase the hours, or it's going to be pretty bad.
Spokesperson John Mark Sharp says if the measure does not pass, they may even be forced to close some libraries.
The Eastover subdivision has fallen somewhat into disrepair since Hurricane Katrina hit the area more than 8 years ago. Its golf course closed, many homes abandoned.
Tomorrow, voters will decide if those who live in the gated community will pay substantially more in property taxes. It's an idea some people are so opposed to, they're taking legal action.
WDSU News reporter Travers Mackel is live with a story all new at 6. Travers?
Norman, the lawsuit was filed late last month by a group called Concerned Citizens of Eastover, and it aims to make sure people aren't forced to pay a premium while their neighborhood struggles with the very basics. The sign still hangs at the clubhouse at Eastover Golf Club, but the building is a gutted shell. It's looked like this for years, a hollow reminder of the amenities that attracted people to this area when it was developed in the late 1980s. No swimming pool, no more tennis courts. This is where the restaurant once stood, and the golf course is an overgrown mess.
It's a disaster. It is sad. This used to be the jewel of New Orleans East. It is now an eyesore.
So many residents share those sentiments. They formed the group Concerned Citizens of Eastover LLC and hired attorney Henry Klein to represent them.
All the houses have lost their 50%, 60% of their value.
But on Saturday, residents will be asked to pay more, even though these days they're getting much less. Proponents say the steep hike in taxes would spark a turnaround, supporting security and beautification efforts. The proposition to add to a special district would mean an additional $1,600 a year in property taxes. Homeowners currently pay just over that amount, meaning if the proposition passes, Klein says the taxes and fees to live here may double, soaring to more than $3,000 annually for some people. The lawsuit hopes to block that possibility.
Since 2005, for the past 8 years, they have allowed this deplorable condition to exist.
Klein and his group are calling for the resignations of those who control the fees collected, the Eastover Property Owners Association board members. He hand-delivered that request on Thursday. We reached out to numerous board members. None of them responded about the lawsuit or the calls for their resignations. And there's also this concern. The city of New Orleans confirms that because of past due taxes, it controls liens on about a half dozen.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Good afternoon. You are listening to The Proven Truth. You are tuned into The Proven Truth with your brother and host, Anthony Brown, coming to you live from the studios of Radio Gumbo Creole here in the beautiful territory of New Orleans, Louisiana. As you all know, family, it's midterm election in just a few days from now. Midterm election just a few days from now. And here in the territory of Louisiana, we got on the ballot 6 propositions, 6 constitutional amendments, 3 of which deals with taxation. And for those of you who listen to this program or follow this program, this channel, you know that we are against proposition number 6. We're against proposition number 6. And what proposition number 6 tries to do is to increase, or actually to levy a tax. What proposition number 6 is trying to do is to levy a tax against we the people of Louisiana. Try to levy a tax against we the people of Louisiana. Number 4 is another taxing proposition that's on the ballot. However, number 4 really doesn't impose a tax on we the people per se. What number 4 does, number 4 is, a matter of fact, on the ballot, the subject title for number 4 is taxes. I think they mislabeled that one under taxes. Number 5, where they have number 5 as property, number 5 should actually be taxes, because number 5 actually have to do with a levying of a tax. And the ballot family, what happened? They categorize these constitutional amendment. They categorize them. They put them on the title and they put them underneath subject matter and title. The amendments are titled. So you have Title 1 Amendment number 1, that's Title 1. Title 2 is Amendment number 2. Title 3 is Amendment number 3. Title 4 is Amendment number 4. Title 5 is Amendment number 5. Title 6 is Amendment number 6. Subject matter. Title number 1 or Amendment number 1 fall underneath the subject matter of elections. Subject number 2 or Amendment number 2 fall underneath trials. 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 Amendment number 3 or title number 3 fall underneath the subject matter local government. And what I'm going to do in a short while, I'm going to actually go through the subject matter and let you see. Title number 4, subject matter, is taxes. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute why I'm saying that this, even though the subject fall underneath taxes, I think, I don't know why they would do that or how they come about doing that. But I don't think that subject matter for amendment number 4 is accurate. Subject or title number 5, subject matter is property. Title number 6, subject matter is taxes. Real quick, let's go through the 6th proposition that's on the ballot. The first one, titled Amendment number 1, subject matter elections, after deals with the prohibiting of felons from running for office for 5 years. So what that is in a nutshell, it is saying that if someone is charged with a felon or is convicted of a felony and serve his or her time, after finishing serving that time, that sentence, that person should wait a minimum of 5 years before that person can, 1, run for public office again, or 2, be appointed to public office. And again, the subject matter for that is election, which I think that's fair enough. I think that titling is righteous because it does have to do with election. If you cannot, if a time period of 5 years haven't passed, we are saying no. You need to sit your ass down. Leave our business, our affair, or the people business, the people affair alone. Give yourself some time to rethink whatever criminal act you did that caused you to end up in federal prison in the first place. The second one, title amendment number 2, have to deal with trials. The subject matter is trials. And again, I think that was the subject that this fall underneath, or the category, is a righteous one as well. And what number 2 deals with is, it's a requirement. It's a requirement issue asking that all 12 individuals that sit in judgment, all 12 individuals that form a part of the jury, must unanimously vote to acquit or vote to convict. If all 12 individuals don't vote to convict, then the accused must be acquitted. If all 12 individuals that sit or form a part of that jury is not convinced of the accused's guilt, then the prosecuting attorney, whoever she or he is, did not prove his case or her case without a shadow of a doubt. There's still doubt in the jury's mind, and we are saying that where that situation occur, you must acquit the accused. We need all 12 jury to unanimously vote on that individual's guilt. And again, that subject matter is trials. Title number 3, amendment number 3, subject matter, local government. And again, with this one, we think that it is rightfully, it falls on the right subject matter, local government. What number 3 is asking for, it's asking, or if number 3 should pass, it would allow political subdivisions to exchange equipment and personnel between each other for the benefit of we the people through a contract or through an agreement, a written agreement. And we think that title number 1 or amendment number 1, 2, and 3, common sense proposition that's on the ballot. Common sense. Title number 4 fall underneath the subject matter, taxes. Taxes. Now, thinking about it, you know, it's 50-50 when you think about it, to be honest. It's actually 50-50. Because it really does have to deal with tax or with money. The underlying premise of title number 4 that's on the ballot in another few days, November 6th, actually have to deal with money. What type of money? We the people of this territory, Louisiana, establish government, and we give them a revenue stream. Now, once the people have been taxed, any type of taxation, and we the people, that fund, that money, that resources must be spent for a specific person. For a specific purpose. For a specific purpose. Meaning, if you levy a tax or you impose a tax, and in imposing that tax, you say, okay, this tax is toward transportation, as it is in this case, amendment number 4, subject matter taxes. Here we have a revenue stream coming from transportation. The Department of Transportation, Louisiana Department of Transportation, falls underneath the executive branch of government. They are responsible to take care of our affairs, we the people affairs, when it comes to transportation that have to deal with commerce or out there in the general public. And that can be, when we talk about transportation, my brothers and sisters, we're talking about air, land, and sea. We give them a revenue source. We give them a revenue source. All that revenue that they collect through that source that have to deal with transportation go into the transportation fund, go into a special fund, or go into a bank account, go into an account. Now the resources, the monies from that account supposed to be used for one thing or one purpose only, that's transportation, or that anything to do with transportation or related to transportation infrastructure, in like fixing our roads, our bridges, things to that effect. So that money was intended for that purpose and that purpose only. What we have going on here right now, we have the state police, the Louisiana State Police. Again, even though it still falls underneath the administrative branch, although it still falls underneath the administrative branch of government, they have their own funding source. A matter of fact, they have more than one funding source, to be honest with you. As it is right now, they are taking, or there's money that's being dedicated or are taken from the transportation fund, and that money is dedicated to the state police, into their kitty, into their purse, into their bank account, for them to use at their own disposal. And we the people are saying that no, that need to stop. You need to stop taking money from the transportation fund, money that's supposed to go there and fix our roads, our bridges, our lights, traffic lights and things to that effect, and give to the state police. That's what. So it have to do with money, with funds. And that money, that funds, are actually tax dollars from we the people. So when you think about it from that perspective or that point of view, the subject matter that it falls underneath, taxes, yeah, we'll give it a pass. We'll give it a pass. We'll give it a pass. However, and that's the reason why we are voting yes. That's the reason why we are voting yes for proposition number 4. Again, you see, just so there's no misunderstanding. Yes, the subject matter falls under tax, but this one we are voting yes for 4 because what it is, again, we are saying yes to stop taking money from the transportation fund and give it to the state police. We don't want that. That's wrong. It's illegal. It wasn't supposed to happen in the first place. It wasn't. Every single taxing dollars, every single penny that we the people give to them, government, for taxes, that money was supposed to go for specific purpose and intent. As it relates to the transportation, that money was supposed to go towards transportation, not towards policy enforcers or police officers or state police. No, they have their own revenue stream. And in the case of Louisiana, why you believe that so much of these from the top too, and look, this is one of the arguments that I've been making here on the show for some time. The level of corruption here in the territory of New Orleans, Louisiana is deep-rooted, family. The level of corruption here is deep-rooted. Deep-rooted. You can look at any branch of government, any one of the 3 branches of government, and just look no further than the person who is calling themselves the head of that branch or the leaders of that branch. And you see what I'm talking about. They are corrupted. The corruption is from the top. And in some cases, it trickled down. The last headman, the last state commander for the state police, you have to leave that post prematurely. Now we come to find out that while he was in office, right, he was covering up atrocities by his subordinates. You have state police who, through this LACE program, and for those of you who don't know what this LACE program is, the LACE program is a program by which these local governments, these body politics, these political subdivisions, they go out and they enter into contracts with the state police. Again, and that's the reason why I tell people about these goddamn these so-called traffic tickets. But that's a whole different time, a whole different show. They go out and they enter into a contract with New Orleans, with Kenner, with St. Bert, whatever the political subdivision is, right? And they collect money from the political subdivision based on the amount of tickets they write. It's never about safety, never. It's about generating revenue. We have state police that sit their ass inside at the homes, the residents, writing goddamn ticket out there in the street. These people are magicians. Magicians. How you can be inside your house writing ticket with the same date and time. The date and time that you claim to be out there writing ticket, you were inside your house. The license plates are fictitious. You have state police, state troopers who inside the house and submitting duty roster or timesheets. Look, not to stray from this issue, but I'm just trying to give you an insight to what we are dealing with here in Louisiana. That's one other revenue stream for the state police away from the one that's we the people established for them. So they are, so what am I saying? We vote yes on proposition number 4 to stop the deduction or the dedication of funds from the transportation fund to the state police. Title number 5, Amendment 5, falls underneath the subject matter property. Fall underneath the subject matter property. And what that is, and rightfully so, even though the subject matter for title number 5 or amendment number 5 could as well be taxes as well, because in reality, or the truth about it, what they are trying to do in proposition number 5 is to actually levy a tax. They are actually under proposition number 5 trying to levy a tax against we the people, or against certain class of people, to be honest with you. Against certain class of people. And this is what it is in a nutshell. Here you have first responders. You all know what first responders is. First responders are, your firefighters, your policy enforcers, your EMT workers. You know your first responders are. Here we have first responders. Here we have military personnel, people who take it on to themselves to go there and fight a cause that they believe on behalf of we, the people, are on behalf of their country. And while these first responders, while these military persons are out there serving, for those of them who purchase a piece of property, they claim a special assessment on that piece of property. So they're out there, they're serving, they're doing the thing, they're taking care of the family, they purchase a piece of property because they have because of their job title, they acquire a special assessment on that piece of property. Now here it is, years gone by, or misfortune occur that person, that first responder died, or that military person died during during the time that they are serving, died, deceased, no longer with the family. And what that does, it directly cut off a funding source for the family. Or in some cases, that person is incapacitated, cannot work no more, cannot work, right? Because maybe injury occur on the job. Here it is, these politicians over here, these criminals over here, want to know, add a tax, and that's what I'm saying. The subject matter is property. The subject matter should actually be taxes. But again, we know who we are dealing with. We know who we are dealing with here in the territory of Louisiana. We have politicians here corrupted politicians. That's what we have. Now, the breadwinner is no longer with the family. The breadwinner is no longer with the family. Okay? And they want to now impose a tax on the surviving spouse of the breadwinner. They want to impose a tax on the surviving spouse of the breadwinner. They want to impose a tax on the kids of the breadwinner. I have received, family, I have received many calls on proposition number 5. And any way you slice and dice proposition number 5, the outcome, the end result going to be the same. No. One school of thought on proposition number 5 is, based on the conversation that have and the calls that I've been receiving on this proposition, is that some people think that what this proposition is trying to do is to take away that special exemption from the family, from the surviving spouse, from the kids. Take away that exemption from the family. And even when you look at it from that point of view, it's still going to be no, or still should be no. Because taking away that exemption from the family leaves them now out there in the open to be taxed. Leave them now out there to be taxed as, let's say, everyone else. Now, mind you, this whole premise that we are speaking about, this whole taxing issue, is faulty. This whole taxing issue, my brothers and sisters, my friends and family, is faulty from the root. But we are just working right now, or we are speaking about the issue on this platform that we have. This whole taxing concept, this whole taxing issue, that they can come and tax that piece of property you call your home, that piece of property you call your casa, that piece of property you call your crib, that place that you go home to after a hard day's work, that place that you utilize to shelter you and your family from the elements, be it sun, rain, or hail. The concept, the argument that they have the authority to tax that piece of place, that piece of property, is faulty, is wrong, is a deception, is lies, is a deceit. But for this purpose, for this proposition that's on the ballot, let's enter the conversation. Let's talk on it as if they have any goddamn right or authority to do that. When you look on proposition number 5, from that school of thought, that here it is, the breadwinner, or that person who, while they were alive, choose a career that will benefit their fellow Americans, that would benefit, or that they choose a career of service, either through the military or through first responders. And now that they are no longer with us, just look, all I'm asking you to do, family, is to utilize common sense. That's it. And for those of you out there, look, I'm the first to acknowledge, look, I owe no animosity, I owe no envy against you guys out there with your big credentials, right? Your PhDs and your master's degrees and your associate, whatever credential you got, you know. But all I ask you to do when we are having a dialogue, when me and you are having a dialogue, is for that time during which we are having the dialogue, come down from your goddamn IRs, come down from that ladder, come down from that mountain, look me straight in the face, look in my eyes, and let's utilize something that the both of us have, that we were born with. Common sense. Common sense, my brothers and sisters. Common sense. Look, I recognize that common sense. I recognize common sense right now is like the plague. Common sense is like the plague. And certain people can't afford or fail to use or even to recognize that there is such a thing as common sense. When you try to talk to certain people, they're going to come to you from their perspective of the indoctrination that they receive from that institution over there that give them the credentials. And I understand that. I'm not knocking you. I understand you can only think or you can only process certain things a certain way. I understand, a matter of fact, I overstand. I overstand the concept. Like, oh, my brother, my Rastafarian brethren back in the Caribbean would state it. No, my brethren. You need to understand this concept. To understand is not to interpret what I'm saying. Is not to be on the same playing field. You need to understand this concept. So, my brothers and sisters, I understand the concept that you have been indoctrinated. No disrespect intended. I understand, I understand that you are programmed to think a certain way. I understand that. But all I'm asking for you to do, my brother and my sister, is to come down or utilize what is in you, or utilize what you have. Utilize that common sense. When we're talking about certain issue, utilize certain common sense. Why would it, or why would you choose to tax the grieving family? Why would you choose to tax the grieving family of someone who served his or her country to the point where they gave their life, to the point where they gave their life, to the point where they are no longer capable of performing certain function, to the point where they are no longer the breadwinner for their family? Why would you now choose to levy a tax, to impose a tax on that person's family? Huh? That's one school of thought, my brothers and sisters, and proposition number 5. That's one school of thought. And again, as we say, any way you slice or dice it is no. From that school of thought, from that point of view, we vote no on proposition number 5. The other school of thought is this. Here it is. You have the same person, first responder, military person. Either they died or they're incapacitated, are inactive, no longer performing active service or active duty for whatever reason. That piece of property ends up in trust. Trust meaning in limbo, or there's a dispute over the property. There's a dispute or it's in trust. Okay? Now, you are going to say that while that property with that special exemption, while it is in trust, you want to tax that piece of property? Now, who are you taxing? You're taxing, again, the very same people. The spouse, the kids of that veteran, of that first responder. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that? Mr. No Good criminal imposter Errol G. Williams and the taxing authority here in Louisiana. Why? Why would you want to do that, Mr. J.P. No Good Morel? Huh? Why? Any way you slice or dice, proposition number 5, let me tell you guys why. Let me tell you guys why. Again, you're listening to The Proven Truth. You're listening to The Proven Truth with your brother and host, Anthony Brown. Coming to you live from the studios of Radio Gumbo Creole here in the beautiful territory of New Orleans, Louisiana. Here in the beautiful territory of New Orleans, Louisiana. To participate in the show, you can dial us here. You can call us here at 504-303-8922. Again, our telephone number is 504-303-8922. You can listen to us by dialing 712-432-7883. Again, you can listen to us by dialing the number 712-432-7883. You can also listen to us via the web by going to www.radiogumbocreole.net. That's www.radiogumbocreole.net. We live stream this and every show, family. We live stream this and every show on the YouTube. You can check us out on the YouTube by going to Anthony Brown for Assessor 2017. Again, Anthony Brown for Assessor 2017. We also live stream this show on the Facebook. We live stream this show on the Facebook. You can go to us as Anthony Brown for Assessor. On the YouTube, you can go to us at The Proven Truth. Now, you can, when you understand the players, family, when you understand the players that make a part or that form a part of this of that team over there, you have two players. You have one, we the people, right, the righteous set, and you got another team over there, them, politician, government, cronyism, them. Here in the territory of New Orleans, Louisiana, we have a company by the name of Acorn Information System, LLC. Again, what's the name of that company? Say it with me one more time. Acorn Information Systems, LLC, doing business here in the territory of New Orleans, Louisiana, as civicsource.com. As civicsource.com. This, again, what did I say? A LLC. Now, when you understand that if you want to find a politician or a corrupted, well, for those of you who've been watching this show or listening to this show for some time, you guys know when we talk about politicians, what we are talking about. You guys understand the concept that here in the territory of Louisiana, we here don't have elected official. We don't have elected official in Louisiana. What we have are politicians, corrupted people who occupies the office of elected officials. Politicians, people who come to we the people every 2, 4, 6, and 10 years respectively, tell us what they believe we want to hear, speak to us politically correct, say and do things that will impress a few of us so that we may put them to public office. Politicians. That's what we have here in the territory of Louisiana. Politicians, not elected officials. Long gone were the days when the people of Louisiana had elected officials. And we all know who elected officials are. Elected officials are decent, law-abiding, respectable people who come to us, ask us for the privilege to attend to our affairs, the people's affairs, and when they get that position, they respect and honor the rule of law, the contract, the Constitution. They do the will of the people. They recognize the fact that they are merely an employee. Nothing special about them. Those are elected officials. Long gone were the days when the people of Louisiana have elected officials. What we have right now, right here today, are criminals, are politicians. So, people all over the United States know that if you want to conduct a business, or if you want to do something illegal, or if you want to do something that have to do with government, the first place they come to is Louisiana. Louisiana. For some reason or the other, Louisiana tends to breed politicians. Louisiana tends to breed politicians. I don't know why. I don't know why they tend to breed politicians in Louisiana. And because of that concept, we have a company like this company over here, civicsource.com. Civicsource.com. The parent company, Acorn Information System LLC. Now, Civic Source, look, I know I make a turn off of the topic. But look, I'm coming right back. I make a short diversion, but I'm coming right back on the road. I need to make a point. This company, Civic Source, the CEO, the chief executive officer. Oh man, you have to have fun with this, man. The chief executive, the chief executive offender is a person by the name of Byron P. Burroughs. He is the chief, according to his title, he is the chief executive officer. Now, these are the people who are listed on the LLC as members, right? You have Byron P. Burroughs, someone who is a part of the member, who is a member of that private group, that private club, the Bar Association. William Sassaman, Chief Technology Officer. Byron Danos, D-A-N-O-S. He is the Chief Information Officer. The Chief what? Information Officer. So his job is to send or propagate certain information out there to deceive you. And that's what they're doing. Look, we're going to take a short break. And in this short break, I'm going to play for you one of the kingpin, one of the Mr. Byron Danos. He is the chief executive, he's the chief information officer of Civic Source. Now, when I come back, we're gonna tie in how Civic Source and these politicians here in Louisiana and how these constitutional amendment that's on the ballot, how all of them tie into one.
Lien sales and adjudication sales in Louisiana. Company started a while back. And I'll kind of follow up on Bob's last comment in the last talk when he talked about the cheerleaders. That is specifically the reason why we came up with the auction process. We started out as a company that was doing the digitization of due process, making sure that all the notifications pre-sale, I'll get into the laws of why that's necessary, but you have to notify everybody pre-sale in Louisiana. We got into that business. And then we had several different taxing authorities say, look, people are showing up, 50 people are showing up these sales, they're sending a lady in a red dress, and the lady in the red dress ultimately wins the right properties, and so it's not fair. Can you do it online to make it more fair? And that's why the process came up. So we were hearing the same things, and that's what we were adding. We're adding an online process that allows all of you to effectively buy and not have to show up at each sale, right? All right, so let's talk about Louisiana in general. If you're from here, you know. If you're not, you know, your probably impression is we do everything differently. We do everything differently. Even our laws, we have Napoleonic Code. It's different laws. And one of the main things is we call our counties parishes because, you know, it's a religious state, whatever. So there's 64 parishes, and even more odd, the tax collector for the parish is the sheriff. Right? I've never met a sheriff that got elected sheriff because they were a good tax collector. So they could care less about tax collection. It's something that they're burdened, they have to do in the meantime of, you know, cops and robber stuff. So they're really not excited about doing the tax collection process. So this is what we help them through. So typically,
Okay, family. Let me stop and let me pause right there real quick. Let me pause right there. Now, again, who is this gentleman you guys listening to? What is his name? Byron Danos. What's his title at civicsource.com? He's the chief liar. Okay, well, yeah, he's a chief liar, but his title is the Chief Information Officer. Did you hear what this gentleman just said a while ago, or do you guys want me to go back and play it again? You want me to play it again, what I'm saying? I'll replay it if you guys want me to. Now, according to him, right, the sheriffs are the ones who auction or sell property, right? But because they don't like their job, come on. So these elected officials, these law enforcement officers, right? The people who we elect to public office. Here is this person over here, an executive member of CivicSource.com, Acorn Information System LLC. In an address, is actually out there selling this crap to the people of Louisiana. So he's telling the people of Louisiana, look, your elected officials, these I never see one sheriff who got elected to public office because they have collect tax or set or auctioning property, right? So here it is, we, Civic Source, is gonna step in and assist, is gonna step in and conduct the function of an elected official. Now, mind your family, again, common sense. This guy over here is operating under the authority of a LLC. Of a what? LLC. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, it's a business structure. A limited liability corporation. The LLC stands for a limited liability corporation. When business people want to go there and conduct business, when business people want to go there and dabble in commerce, they create a LLC so that they can hide or they can operate. But look, I'm not knocking LLC. No, I'm a business person myself. I operate under LLCs too. Not in a criminal capacity. Not to rob people or deceive people. No, I won't do that. I refuse from doing that. I operate under LLC too, because without operating under a LLC in this society, you actually cannot, it will be more difficult for you to go there and sustain life, or to actually make a living, or to do certain things. No, there are certain things you can do without an LLC, to be honest with you. But certain things, so, full disclosure, I'm not knocking the concept of the LLC. I'm not knocking that. What I'm talking about is you got people, you got organization, like here in the territory of Louisiana, we have members of, and in New Orleans City Council, politicians who go there, create these LLC, just so that they can land grab, they can rob the same people who put them into public office. They can take those people's property and bite up under the disguise or the cloak of these LLC. Now here it is, you got this criminal over here, Byron Danos, the Chief Information. Now look on the information that he is telling to this audience. He said, one, look, here it is, these elected officials, these sheriffs, don't want to do their jobs, or fail to do their jobs, or don't like to do their jobs. So my company, my associates, Byron Burroughs, William Sasselman, Michael Cushion, and all of them, we now gonna step in and do the function of an elected official. Did you guys, hold on a minute, I think you guys missed that part. And So let's go back to that part a second. So I want you guys here. For those of you who miss it, let's go back to that what that guy did a while ago.
If you're from here, you know. If you're not, you know, your probably impression is we do everything differently. We do everything differently. Even our laws, we have Napoleonic Code. It's different laws.
No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. He want the people to believe, it's just so different here in Louisiana. Napoleonic laws. We do no, that's crap. That's the premise on which he starts his conversation. Because for those for those in the audience, in the group, who may be scratching their head and say, but they will think that, this is Louisiana. It's just so different here.
And one of the main things is we call our counties parishes because, you know, it's a religious state, whatever. So there's 64 parishes, and even more odd, the tax collector for the parish is the sheriff, right? I've never met a sheriff that got elected sheriff because they were a good tax collector. So they could care less about tax collection. It's something that they're burdened, they have to do in the meantime of, cops and robber stuff. So
lies, deceit, deception. You see, you see, he want the audience to believe that your elected official, your law enforcement officer, don't want to do his or her job in the capacity that he or she was elected to do it. They don't like it. They don't want to do it. He never see or saw or hear about no sheriff who got elected because they are good at doing the job. Huh? Listen to this criminal some more, man.
So they're really not excited about doing the tax collection process. So this is what we help them through. So typically, except Orleans Parish, it has a Department of Finance, and Lafayette has a department, but everywhere else it's the sheriff is actually who is running the tax sales for the parish. There's also 150 municipalities, there's probably more than that actually collect for themselves also. So you have the sheriff sale, and you also have the city level tax sales. So there's a lot of auctions that happen in Louisiana. 60, that probably number's low. There's probably more, but about 60 of them are actually online. The rest are in little small places that you don't want to visit. But I have visited the small towns of Louisiana. There's not much north of I-10. But it's a great state, I'll say that. So let's talk about the other weird thing we do is we're one of the few states that has this hybrid sale. Most of you are all familiar with the tax lien process, and you're all familiar with the tax deed process, right? So what is a hybrid? We are a hybrid state. We sell basically a lien, and then 3 years later, that lien has the right to convert to a deed.
Okay, look. We won't go into his presentation for much long. I'm trying to make a point. So this group over here, this LLC over here, Civic Source, because the condition here in Louisiana is ripe, because the people who we have in public office are of a devious nature, because we have politicians here in Louisiana. Listen to what I'm saying carefully, family. Because we have politicians and not elected officials here in the territory of Louisiana, that's the reason why we have a company like Civic Source. We have a company like Acorn Information System LLC doing business as civicsource.com, because we have politicians here in the territory of Louisiana and not elected official. That's why we have proposition number 5 on the ballot, to which we vote no, and proposition number 6. But let's just wrap up proposition number 5 before we move to proposition number 6. Proposition number 6 is the big dog for me on the ballot. All of these propositions on the ballot are relevant. Some people focus on some more than some. But we here on The Proven Truth, we try to be balanced. People call us on people because the people of Louisiana, let me tell you something, man. Before I came to this studio here today, my neighbors in my neighbor, I heard knocking on my door. I got neighbors who's going out to vote, who misplaced their copy of this amendment, the amendment that we have out, the amendments that we have out there all over social media, and we've been handing out to the people of Louisiana. Can I get a copy? Can you give me back another copy of the document? I say yes, because people are fully informed that we have all 6 propositions that's on the ballot. Even though we are putting a lot of voice to proposition number 6, people need to be fully aware about every single proposition that's on the ballot. These politicians here in Louisiana ain't informing the people about that. The only one or maybe 2 that's getting any type of airplay, and it's not because of politicians, it's because of special group who have special interest inside these amendments, why they are even getting so much play. Amendment number 2 and amendment number 4. People call us, people ask us, where can we get or be informed about the amendments that's on the ballot? That's why we go out, family, and we draft our document outlining to people the propositions that's on the ballot, giving them a brief synopsis of what's on the ballot, right? And then also giving them contact information on which, if they need clarity, or where they can go to actually see the actual ballot measurements. We do that. We do that so people can be informed. Our main purpose here is to inform our brothers and sisters. Our main purpose here is to inform the people of Louisiana of what's out there. Now, you can come up with your own interpretation. We merely steer you or guide you or tell you our opinion or our viewpoint. I personally have friends, and that's why I tell a family, look, I don't mean no disrespect to nobody. I personally have friends who have license, who are real estate agents. And because of their indoctrination, the first thing they're going to tell me, oh, well, I'm a licensed real estate person, and this is how it works. Says, oh, my brother. Says, oh, my sister. Yeah, I understand the concept. If you want to make a living, if you want to keep a roof over your head and food on the table, while you are out there operating underneath that license, you have to abide or adhere to certain principle or certain school of thought, because that's what they tell you when you go to that institution of indoctrination, so you can call yourself a licensed real estate person. I understand the concept that you are so goddamn brainwashed, you cannot see or interpret or look outside what you were being taught. We understand. We understand that. We understand that. And that's why I ask you. I asked my friends who are part of the Bar Association. I asked my friends who have certain credentials out there. I said, look. I know you're smart because you went to X school and X colleges and X universities, and they tell you you're smart. So I'm not going to tell you you're not smart. No. Oh dear, I do such a thing. Oh dear. After you spend so much years and months and acquiring your credentials, do I dare tell you you're not a smart and intelligent person? You are. But all I'm asking of you at this instant, at this moment, if you can, are you capable of doing it? Because some of you is so goddamn tied down and so indoctrinated, you cannot even think outside of those credentials. Common sense to you is the goddamn plague. You don't even know what name common sense no more. Common sense have no space inside your brain cell or inside your thinking process. Common sense. So I ask, I say, can you for a moment totally forget about your credentials, about your PhD, about your master's, about your bachelor, about your 4-year degree? Can you for a minute put that to the side and that processing, that process that you went through or you had was to subject yourself to before you get these credentials? Can you put that to the side for a minute? And can you come to my level? Because I'm not I'm not as smart as you. So I cannot play on that level or on that playing field as you. I'm not as smart as you. But at the same time, I would love to have a conversation with you. So can you come down to this level right here? Can you come off of the ladder, that high building, off of your throne, so I don't have to break my neck or bend my neck all the way up to see you, to look at you? Can you come down here and talk to me? Look me in the eyes and use common sense? Huh? Common sense, that's all I ask, sir. Common sense. That thing that you were born with. Common sense. Huh? So, here it is. Because of these politicians, we have proposition number 5 on the ballot. Now again, any way you slice or you dice it, it's a no. If it was for these politicians here, we wouldn't have this proposition or this amendment on the ballot. And again, just to show you what we're talking about, you want to tax people when they are basically down and out. That's what proposition number 5 is. When you're down and out, you want to tax people. When the main breadwinner is no longer with the family, you want to tax them more. You are goddamn beating a dead horse. Title number 6, amendment number 6, subject matter taxes, and rightfully so. Now, we're going to read this one again. Amendment number 6 for us is where the tire meets the road, is where the water starts to boil, is where water freezes, is where you can tell people who utilize common sense is where you can recognize elected officials from politicians. That's what proposition number 6 is for us. Let me read the actual ballot text as it appears on the ballot in another, today was the 27, another what, 10 or so days. Do you support an amendment that will require that any reappraisal of the value of residential property by more than 50%, resulting in a correspondent increase in property taxes, be phased in over the course of 4 years, during which time no additional reappraisal can occur, and that the decrease in the total ad valorem tax collected as a result of the phase-in of assessment valuation be absorbed by the taxing authority and not allocated to the other taxpayers. Now, listen to me and listen to me carefully, my brothers and sisters. There is certain things, there is certain concept, there is certain premise that you must bear in mind before or when reading these propositions that's on the ballot. The first and foremost, you must recognize and remember the territory in which you live. You must recognize, be mindful of the territory in which you are living, the territory of Louisiana. Secondly, you must be mindful, you must recognize, you must understand the people who drafted this amendment. You must recognize the people who drafted this amendment. Louisiana politicians. These people, when they drafted this amendment, family, they drafted it in such a way that it's ambiguous. That's the first thing. They drafted it in such a way that it's ambiguous. And therein lies one of the problems. They drafted it in such a way that when the average man, woman, and child look on this proposition, they have to scratch their head. They have to wonder, how should they interpret this proposition? They drafted it in such a way that when you read it, or when the average person read it, it would appear, it would seem as if they have your best interest at heart. Again, remember who we are dealing with. Remember where you are. The territory of Louisiana, and we are dealing with politicians, criminals. When you look at the last two sentences of proposition number 6, and you see something like, no additional reappraisal can occur, and that the decrease in the total ad valorem tax collected as a result of the phasing of assessment valuation be absorbed by the taxing authority. You're going to think to yourself, oh, well, look, they going to be losing money, one, or be losing revenue because of this proposition, which is a lie. It's a lie. And that's what, look, therein again, look, family, you have to look at this with a skeptic eye. You have to be real skeptical when you read this document. Again, I cannot overstate it enough. You must be mindful of who we are dealing with, of where you are. Louisiana and politicians. They want the average person to believe that with this process and the phasing process, the phasing component over that 4-year period, that they, one, will be losing revenue. So you're going to be showing some type of sympathy for them. Or two, that during that 4-year period, that same piece of property cannot be reappraised. Also, that whatever deficiency there are, or whatever money that the taxing authority did not gather, they will absorb that loss, and that loss won't be allocated to no other taxpayers. You see where I'm getting at? So when they draft this document, when they draft this proposition, this constitutional amendment, it is drafted in such a way that its all meaning, its all purpose can be or is ambiguous, is misleading, is deceiving. But it will put you in a position when you look at, and again, when you look at the last two sentences, for you to vote how they want you to vote. Follow what I'm saying? No. Another aspect of this, or a key component of proposition number 6, you must first and foremost, I did, well, let me not say you, I first and foremost ask myself, why is such a proposition needed on the ballot? Why? That was the first question that I asked myself. Why is such a proposition needed on the ballot? Now, look, let me tell you something. For those of you who, let me read something to you real briefly. And this is coming from the Louisiana Tax Commission. Listen to what I'm saying carefully. One of the first questions I asked myself, as someone who been out there now for years, as someone who been out there, who been calling out these criminals, people like that person calling himself the tax assessor for Orleans Parish, that criminal imposter, that criminal no good, Errol G. Williams. As someone who has been out there showing them the flaw in what they are doing, showing them that what they are doing is wrong, what they are doing could never be right. What they are doing is merely robbing, lying, and deceiving the people of Louisiana, but they don't care. So when I see something like this, there's certain things that just jump off the page jump off the page right away. And I recognize what they are trying to do. Right off the bat. But again, one of the questions that I asked myself, why would they put a proposition on the ballot like this? Then I came across this. Let me read something for you. It's titled, How Would the Amendment Affect Assessment Role? Amendment number 6. This is from that body there in Baton Rouge, the Louisiana Taxing Commissioner. According to the Louisiana Taxing Commission, an assessment increase of more than 50% over a 4-year period for residential property is not typical. Full stop. Therefore, comma, according to the commission, comma, the amendment would not make frequent changes to the assessment rule. Full stop. Take some time and wrap your brain around that. Take a few seconds and wrap your brain around that. Go ahead. The Louisiana Taxing Commission has stated an assessment increase of more than 50% over a 4-year period for a residential property is not typical. No, they said not, it's unheard of. However, they say it's not typical. Let's roll with that for right now. Therefore, according to the amendment, now, again, they approach it with gloves on, or their statement is mild, or the assumption is mild. The Louisiana Taxing Commission. Mine are more assertive. The first question I ask myself, what are they trying to achieve by having this amendment on the ballot? Then my common sense kicks in. Common sense. I then look at the amendment or the section of the contract itself, what they are trying to change. I then look at that component, that section, that paragraph of the contract that they are trying to amend. It's Article 7, Section 18A and F. Once I saw that, family, once I saw that, right off the bat, I recognize what time of day it is. Right off the bat, I recognize what time of day it is, or it was. When I recognized that they were trying to amend Article 7, Section 18A and F, I went and I read the very first sentence of the ballot measure. And the very first sentence of the ballot, let me read it for you. Do you support an amendment that will require that any reappraisal of the value of residential property by more than 50%, comma? Now, that word, that phrase, residential property, that word, that phrase, residential property, is key, is paramount. That word, residential property, is key, is paramount. So when I look at that, and I go back and I look at what they are trying to do, are the part of the Constitution, the part of the contract that they are trying to amend, it's like the 4th of July in my brain, in my eyes. All the whistles and the fireworks started to go off. I said to myself, these criminal bastards. No, yeah. I said it to myself, and I said it out loud too. I did. I said, these criminal bastards. But you see, family, the average person, right? The average person are those group of people who have been indoctrinated by these institutions to the point where they're calling themselves, you know what I mean, attorneys and real estate personals. And many other more. But once I recognize these, the section to which they are trying to amend, and that very first section, this is what they're trying to do. Let me tell you. They are trying to tie in or to associate the word residential property to the word avalarum. Look, let's go to the contract. Let's go to the contract real quick. Let's go to the contract. The very first thing I asked myself when I saw proposition number 6, what the hell are these criminals trying to do? I know that it would have something to do with a increase, a property tax increase. I know that without even dissecting the whole proposition itself, because that's their premise. That's their premise, to tax people so that they can have more money going into their retirement fund. So that means once they leave public office, there is sufficient money in the kitty they can live off until thy kingdom come. That's what it's all about. I know this. It's about robbing the people of Louisiana to the point where they divert these monies, put in their retirement fund. Right? That's the reason why. Look, family, let me tell you something, man. Look. Again, you must recognize two things. One, the territory in which you live. You must recognize where you reside, where you live. The territory of Louisiana. You must also recognize that we have politicians here in the territory of Louisiana, my family, friends, and enemies. We don't have elected officials. elected officials take the Guardian jet and flew to Louisiana. The elected officials that we had here long time ago left with the dinosaurs. What we have here in the territory of Louisiana are politicians, criminals. We don't have no one or no politician checking another politician. They can't do it. Are you going to have a goddamn criminal or a thief or a murderer calling out another thief or another murderer? Oh man, you're a murderer. So what? You're a murderer too. Hey man, you're a thief. So what? You're a thief too. Hey man, you're a rapist. So what? You're what? Where's the check and balance? We don't have that. We don't have that, family. And that is the look, every single time. That's why when a criminal like Errol G. No Good Imposter, the person calling himself the Orleans Parish tax assessor, that's why when he commit these atrocities against we the people, nobody, no other politician, neither that lackadaisical want to be friend with everybody, Lataya Cantrell, that No Good want to be President 2020, Mitch Landrieu, the member of the New Orleans City Council, that criminal John, none of them, look, none of them say nothing. Why? Because when Errol G. Williams over here commit the atrocity, rob the people of Louisiana, of New Orleans, that resources are the monies from that criminal conduct, from that criminal act, go inside the retirement fund. So here is Errol G. Williams padding the retirement fund for himself and his cronies. That's what we have going on here, family. That's what happened here in Louisiana. That's why we rank #1 when it comes to cronyism, when it comes to political corruption. No other territory within the United States can beat us when it comes to politicians. None. We have the most politicians, so-called elected officials, under indictment, under investigation, in federal prison, are coming out of federal prison. No other territory can beat our ass. None. I don't know. Look, I think I'm going to get some scientific fact or get somebody to do a scientific, analogy for me to find out if the water that these politicians drink or these people drink once they go into public office have something to do with their action. There must be something. There must be something that affect these people. Well, you know something, I'll take that back to you, because we have people right now in public office who we know for a fact was actually committing criminal act before they actually went and sit in public office. Like right now, and in New Orleans City Council, we have this clown by the name of Jay Banks. Look, I think we need to start some type of group or organization or try to inspire decent, law-abiding people to run for public office. We are lacking that. This last local government election that we had proved that. We need something like that. We need a movement in which we can inspire. We need a movement in which we can encourage certain people to run for public office. We have somebody like a J Banks right now sitting on the New Orleans City Council representing District B. And the only reason why he's there is that the people of District B didn't have a better pool of people to pick from, or didn't have no alternative. That's the only reason why he's on the New Orleans City Council right now. That's the only reason why J Banks is on the New Orleans City Council right now, because the people of District B didn't have a better choice. And that's sad. That's really sad. Let's go to the contract. Let's go to the contract, family. When we recognize what ballot proposition number 6 is trying to do, it's trying to amend Article 7, Section 18A. This is what Article 7, Section 18 deals with. Ad valorem taxes. What? Ad valorem taxes. Section 18A, assessment. Assessment. Comma. Property subjected to ad valorem taxation shall be listed on the assessment roll at its assessment value, comma, which, except as provided in paragraphs C and G, shall be a percentage of its fair market value, full stop. The percentage of the fair market value shall be uniform throughout the state upon the same class of property. End. Let's take a look at F. F have to deal with reappraisal. This is what F says. All property subjected to taxation. Now, you see the underlying premise of A and F? A outlines the prerequisite for we the people to be receiving a property tax or a tax bill. Section 18A outlines the premises, outlines the prerequisite. So first, before you get a tax bill, there must be an assessment. Look, real quick, family, we only have a short time left on the program. Now that I'm talking about that, it was because of those of you who aren't fully aware of what the offer we have going on here. Since we recognize this amendment number 6 on the ballot, we have a proposition out there for the people of Louisiana. And this has been out there now since October 15. Because of proposition number 6 that's on the ballot, and we recognize what they are trying to do, we are offering $2,000, or we have been offering $2,000 to anyone living in Louisiana, 2,000 United States dollars, and we still have it, 2,000 United States dollars. 1, 2, 3, start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 2,000 United States dollars. They are trying to amend. Now, this is for anyone who live in Louisiana. Either you live here now or 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, 60 years ago. You can start your Christmas shopping early. And this is how you can get this $2,000. And again, for every 2 months that we have this $2,000 and no one collect it, we're going to be adding $500 to this $2,000. For every 2 months we have it and no one collect it, we're going to be adding $500. Here on the ballot is Proposition 6, a proposition to which they want the people of Louisiana to, they are asking the people of Louisiana to vote yes. We say vote no. They are trying to amend the contract, the Constitution, Article 7, Section 18A and F. This is what 18A says, assessment. So it deals with ad valorem tax assessment. So before you can get a bill from any taxing authority, there must be an assessment. It's in the contract. We are saying to anyone living in Louisiana, either now or then, who have a residence here, a piece of property here, that piece of property, that place you call your home, your casa, your crib, that place where you go home to after a day's work. And if you are required, or if you are asked, or if you have been sent a bill, an annual bill, what they call a property bill, a property tax bill, that you are required to pay every year for that piece of property you call your home, from any taxing authority here in Louisiana, and either before, during, or after you pay that property tax bill, you receive from this criminal, Errol G. Williams, or any other taxing authority here in Louisiana, listen to me carefully, if you can prove to us or give us or show us that you have received from any taxing authority here in Louisiana a valid assessment for that piece of property you call your home, this $2,000 is yours. Now, not only that it's supposed to be assessed or a valid assessment, this is what A goes on to say. Property subjected to ad valorem taxation. It says property subjected. Now, again, family, common sense. If there is property that's subjected, that stands to fact that there is property that's not subjected to ad valorem tax, right? If there is property that's subjected, that stands to fact that there is property that's not subjected. If there is property that's subjected to ad valorem tax, that means there is property that's not subjected. You have to know, even when you look on F, this is what F is saying. Much love, Mike. Much love. Much love, Ben. Appreciate you guys listening, tune in. Here, when you look on F, F, here is where the reappraisal portion of Constitutional Amendment number 6 come in. Now, when you look on the contract, when you look on the Constitution, this is what F deals with. F deals with that component that reassessment component that's on the ballot, right? But this is what F says in the contract. Any property subjected to taxation. So any property subjected to taxation. What type of property is subjected to taxation? Look no further than A. A tells us. A tells us property subjected to ad valorem taxation. What type of taxation? The ad valorem taxation. That's what F doing. Now, when you go back and you look at the very first sentence, this is what it says. Any reappraisal of the value of residential. How the hell did they get the word residential property? Or where did that word residential property come from? Or how the hell could they put that word residential property? What they are doing, they are trying to associate residential property with ad valorem tax. These criminal bastards. I saw it from the very first minute. Within seconds of me reading this amendment or this proposition, I recognize what these criminals was trying to do, family. Within seconds of reading it, I recognize what they are trying to do. And that's the reason, that's why I made the statement that even if this proposition should pass in their favor, it don't worth a crap. So even if the people of Louisiana should fall for their tricks, should fall for their deception, and vote in their favor, it wouldn't mean jack. Because it couldn't, or there's no way that they can associate that piece of property where you call your home, that piece of property you call your casa, with the ad valorem tax. No way. A matter of fact, tune in Monday and we're going to show you the origin of the word ad valorem. Brothers and sisters, you have been listening to The Proven Truth. You have been listening to The Proven Truth with your brother and host, Anthony Brown. Coming to you live from the studios of Radio Gumbo Creole here in the beautiful territory of New Orleans, Louisiana. You can join us here every Monday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. You can join us here every Monday, Thursday, and Saturdays, where we will speak to the people. We will have a dialogue. We will let you know what's on our mind. Look, this is your brother and host, Anthony Brown, saying to you all, have a beautiful weekend or the rest of the weekend. And until Monday, same place, same time, Anthony Brown. Peace. Much love.